So if you don't know which channels bring in your highest margin jobs, you might be scaling blind, right? And so high margin mix is the difference between an HVAC company that struggles with cash and one that can build real wealth. And so the single percentage changes how you can allocate your marketing dollars. And so what I want to show is how to create this heat map. And we're going to have two changing cells here to where you can recalculate everything based off of the threshold. So in other words, if this is 40%, meaning the job was 40% margin, then you can see that 100% of your jobs from Angie in January were from high margin jobs. And this is off of booked revenue. And this is showing 43% overall. So if you lower this number, then you're going to see less red here because most jobs are 30%. But if you go up, meaning you want 50% margin jobs, you can see it sort of breaks down a little bit more, and it's going to show you sort of where you should be spending ad dollars. Like, for example, Facebook and Instagram ads is 38% of the jobs that you book revenue from are from jobs that have 50% or greater margin. And so here in the data set, and if you want this file, there's a link to download it, or you can just shoot me an email. But we have things like, the date and time, which we can get the month and year from, and then we have revenue, and this is important here, and then we have a gross margin column and a gross profit column, and you should be able to have all these. And if you don't have a data set like this, you should download this and then start to recreate it internally, because if you can recreate something like this, it's going to help you get so many different insights. Like, this is just high margin job mix as a percentage of booked revenue, but there's 15 other, very valuable insights. Okay, so these are the three columns we need to add here. And so the first one is going to be margin, and I'll just recreate them to show you. But pretty much we're just seeing, is this percentage here greater than the percentage on the other tab, the changing cell here, right? So what we can do is equals if this is greater than, and I'll just do 0.5 for now, and I'll show you why. If it's greater than 0.5, then give me 1. Otherwise, give me 0. And because it's blank, it's returning a 0, which is what we want. And then to get the month, what we do is we need the text function, and then just highlight wherever the date is of the lead, comma, 4 M's. And then to get the year, same thing, text, comma, 1, 2, 3, 4 Y's here. And so we have all these. So these are the three you need to create. I've already created them. I just wanted to show you how to do it. So I'm going to delete these because we're not going to need them in the formula. So the next thing we need to do is we need to get a unique list of the month and the year, and then a unique list of the channel, the marketing channel. And the way we do that is with the unique function. So equals unique, and then highlight the month and the year, and then press Control Shift down, and then you're good. And then you get all that. So Control C and then Control Shift V again, because I want to remove the formula. I don't want the formula to be here. Okay, so the next thing we need to have the marketing channel across the top. And so again, it's going to be unique, and we know the table name is table leads, and then channel. But what you'll notice is two problems. One, it's not sorted alphabetically, and then two, it's in the column and we want it across the row. So first, to sort it alphabetically, just type in sort and then open your bracket. And now you can see it's sorted alphabetically. And then to transpose it across the top, we want transpose in the formula. And now you can see we have that. So Control C and then Control Shift V. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is because we created this binary trigger, we want to sum for January 2025 and each marketing channel. So organic search. We want to sum the booked revenue if this is 1, and then divide that by the total booked revenue, because the booked revenue for this one is when it's greater than 50%, right? So it's a little bit of a complex formula, but it's not as bad as it sounds. So we want to sum if, right? Sum the booked revenue column if the margin column is a 1, and the month is January, and the year is 2025, and the marketing channel is Angie, right? So the first argument with SUMIFS is the sum range. So we're going to do the table leads column, and then from here we're going to do the revenue. Okay, and so now we do all the criteria. And the criteria, the sequencing doesn't matter. You can start with month, start with year, start with channel, however you want to do it. I'm going to start with, we can just start with the margin column. So we'll do margin, and we need it to be 1. Then next we can do month, and that's going to be right here. You can sort of see the ants in cell B3. And then we're going to do year, comma here, and then we're going to do channel, comma here. And so that's telling you how much high margin revenue that Angie got for January 2025. And now we want to divide this by total booked revenue. And so fortunately, all we have to do is just copy this. And what I'll do is I'll just put it here just to show you the ideology behind it. So now we just have to delete the 1, right? So we don't want that to be a criteria, meaning we want to sum the revenue for all of Angie, all of January, all of 2025. Let's see, where did I mess up? So right here, we don't want this. Yeah. So the answer is going to be 8719 divided by 10223 here, and then divide it. And that's 85%. I'm going to press Control-Shift-5. Okay, so we have the formula. It's good. But now we want to drag this over and drag it down. But what you'll notice is that everything changes. So you can see that this should be Angie, but now it's becoming 85% because it's what's called relative referencing. As you drag it down in the formula, all the cells in the formula will drag down as well. And then as you drag it across, same thing. You can see the blue here. This should be month, but it's year. And so to fix that, what you have to do is anywhere you see any reference in this formula, like B3 or C3 or D2, you need to put $signs. So for the columns that you don't want to change, you want to put the $sign before the column, like this. And then the row, you want to put the $sign before the row, which is a number in this example, just like columns or letters. So same thing here, same thing here, and then here. And then from here, you don't want to drag it because tables still change, right? So gross margin % when it should be revenue. But the way around that is just copy and then paste. And so the first thing you might notice is that there's errors, and that just means that the denominator, the bottom of the fraction, has a 0. And so we want to fix that. And the way we fix that is just say, if there's an error, then do something. And we want that to just be a dash. But you can make it whatever you want. You can say no data. You can say, however you want to say it. Okay, so finally, for this initial analysis, we want to do an overall. And so for overall, it's just what did Angie bring in? What was the average high margin job mix for Angie, regardless of month. And so fortunately, because the way this is structured, we can just copy this and then we can paste it. And then we just need to strip out December in 2026, right? So anywhere in the formula you see the year and the month, which is right here. So we want to delete the year and then we want to delete the month like that. And then the same thing over here. Delete the year, delete the month, and then delete this. Here. Do we have that? Yeah. So now Control-Shift-5, and you can see it's 20%, Control-V. So now what we want is we want to do the high margin threshold and the target percentage. And I'll just paste these. So now in the data set here, we want to tie this. I'm going to have to recreate this real quick because this is being tied to, you can see here, it's being tied to the other page. So let me just recreate it real quick. Equals if, that's okay. What I can do here is I will just change it because then I have to redo like all of the formulas. So what I'll do is I'll just change this section here. If it's greater than this, and then I want to lock this, and everything changes. Okay, so Let me just make sure this is right. Yeah. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to add the word to here. I mean, we could do, something like, we could name it the same thing. What was it? High margin threshold, high margin threshold or something like that. But I want to have it inside the cell. Actually, let's just do it this way. This is fine. I mean, pretty much what it is you just need to let your team know, what does this mean? What is this telling me? And so these are going to be changing cells. And then now what we can do is we can highlight this, hold down Control, highlight this, and then go to Home, Conditional Formatting, highlight Cell Rules, and we want to do less than, and then the target here, right? So if it's less than 30%, we want it to be red. And so this here changes this here to be red based on the percentage. But this up here for the high margin threshold, that's going to change this here from the binary from before, meaning if you change this to 40, everything changes. But what this is saying is that, 100% of booked revenue had for Angie for January had a margin greater than 40%. But as this goes up, these numbers here will go, job is going to have a high margin. Like if you were to do 70, it's like, yeah, nothing, right? Nothing has a 70% margin. And so, yeah, so that's essentially how you can create this. It's going to be very valuable because it's going to let you know where to allocate more marketing dollars. And so stuff like that, these little insights, it's very useful. And the best way, the only way you can get it is if you have the underlying data. So if you don't have this file, again, click to download it and you can show your team to start to recreate it. But if you need some help recreating it, then just let me know. I have multiple HVAC clients, which is why something like this might look very familiar to you, because I several HVAC companies to where I'm a bit familiar with the data. And so, yeah. But anyways, that's all I got for this video, and I will... Oh, no, hold on. If you have any questions at Databoards. And so, yeah, if you have any questions about this, if you need the file, any of that stuff, if you want to hop on my calendar, if you want, you want me to help you guys out, then email is good. But anyways, that's all I got for this one, and I'll see you in future videos.